Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are watching Remstar Says So. Let's get right into this one, guys. Today's video is just about my perception of the light heavyweight division and how stacked it is right now. I believe that the light heavyweight division is the second most stacked division after welterweight, but could having the light heavyweight division could actually have an argument to say they are the most stacked division right now. Right now, you're looking at the light heavyweight champions, and these guys are some next level beasts. You've got the likes of Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, Kovalev, Sven Folding. You've just got a lot of great guys holding these belts. The light heavyweight division has got 4 champions right now, and my pick for cleaning out the light heavyweight division is Dmitry Bivol. I would love to see Dmitry Bivol fight any of these guys. I'd love to see him fight Govstik, who dethroned Adonis Stevenson. I'd love to see him fight Beterbiev. I'd love to see him fight Kovalev. All of these guys are capable of doing amazing things in this division. Yes, we know that Kovalev has taken 3 losses already, but that's not to say that he can't reign supreme in this division right now. As I said, my pick to clean out the division is Dmitry Bivol, but that's not to say that anything can't happen. And that's not to say he won't reign supreme. Dmitry Bivol has only had 16 professional fights, but at 28 years old, he is definitely the youngest inside the top 10, along with Anthony Yard, but he's definitely the youngest belt holder. Looking at the top 10 according to BoxRec, you've got Kovalev, Bivol, Govstik, Marcus Brown, Alvarez, Beterbiev, somehow Badu Jack, Sullivan Barrera, somehow Anthony Yard, and Maskin Vlaskov to sort of round that up. Looking at this division, we've got a lot of undefeated people. Just inside the top 10, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got 5 undefeated people within the top 10. And we all know that Anthony Yard has recently been sort of mandated to take on Sergey Kovalev for that WBO strap. Looking at these champions though, it's hard to sort of tear these guys apart. Even Sven Fomling, who holds the IBO belt, he's still got a lot to say right now. I'd love to see Dmitry Bivol go in there and really start to try and unify some of these belts and have a good go at going undisputed. I'd seen somewhere before that he was interested in going down to 168 to fight Callum Smith, but that's definitely not a fight that I want to see. Dmitry Bivol has just come off a unanimous decision win a couple of weeks ago against Joe Smith in New York, and I just want to see what Dmitry Bivol can offer. The first time I saw Dmitry Bivol, I think I've made a video about this before, was on the Derek Chisora Ajit Kabial undercard, and I thought to myself, this kid is incredible. And I've really sort of enjoyed sort of seeing how he sort of progresses through the ranks. Having a promoter like Eddie Hearn could be a blessing or a curse in disguise. Eddie Hearn is the sort of promoter that either promotes the living shit out of you or leaves you on the fence, similar to what he's doing with Callum Smith. But I think because he's fighting on DAZN exclusively in America, I do think that Bivol is going to get a lot of sort of opportunities to shine. Govstik, we all know about him. He's the guy who dethroned Adonis Stevenson in their fight and put him into a coma. That really put Govstik on the map right now. Obviously, he's only had 17 fights as well. And since he beat Adonis Stevenson back in December, he's actually defended his championship already. Govstik has to be regarded as one of the best because he picked up the lineal title when he dethroned Stevenson in the 11th round in December 18, and then he beat Nbuga, the French light heavyweight contender, in Pennsylvania, America, in March. So Gosdick, he's definitely sort of carving out a path for himself. Bertabiev, the IBF monster, I think he's one of the more avoided guys at the 175 division. Just looking at this guy, he looks like a scary son of a bitch. He's only had 13 professional fights himself, and he's got a fight coming up next month against Kaladzik. I don't know much about Kaladzik, but if I've got the time, I definitely want to watch this fight. What do we know about this guy? He knocked out Callum Johnson in 4 rounds, and he's got a few other sort of names on there, and he's making big waves in this light heavyweight division. One thing I can say is that about these light heavyweight champions, most of these guys haven't had a lot of fights. Govstik, Bivol, or Bertabiev. Sergey Kovalev is definitely the seasoned veteran out of all of these guys, in terms of the amount of fights that he's had and the age. And that's probably the reason why Anthony Yarde is looking at this fight now. When you look at Kovalev, he's had 3 losses. He's 36 years old. He's just turned 36 recently. And maybe he's the one who's there for the picking. If I was Anthony Yarde, would I be rushing to fight Bivol, Govstik, or Bertabiev? Hell no. But 36-year-old Kovalev, possibly. Let's have a look at Kovalev's resume or CV. He lost to Alvarez for the vacant WBO title after the belts got vacated by Andre Ward, and then he rematched him and beat him. Obviously, we've got the 2 losses to Andre Ward back to back when he lost his unified titles, and there's also a draw in there somewhere against Grover Young back in 2011, where he had a technical decision loss, a technical decision draw after an accidental foul. I believe it was a head clash. I didn't actually watch the fight, so I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is looking at this top 10 or top 15, according to BoxRec, there are some absolute killers here. And I just want to see all of these guys get in the ring. If Anthony Yarde thinks he's ready for this, I think we should let him loose. Kovalev, Bivol, Govstik, Marcus Brown, Alvarez, Bertabiev, Badu Jack, Sullivan Barrera, Anthony Yarde, and Vlasov. That makes up the top 10. The top 15, you're looking at Pascal, Michelin, Von Lin, the IBO champion, Joe Smith Jr., and Blake Capello. Just underneath that, down at number 18, you've got Joshua Buatsi, Britain's second rising light heavyweight star. You've also got the likes of Callum Johnson. In Great Britain alone, we've got a lot of light heavyweights coming through. We've got the likes of Craig Richards. Once upon a time, we had the wise guy, Frank Buglioni. And I think it's a good time for light heavyweights in the UK. But looking at these top tier elite guys, can these guys really mix with them? We've seen Badu Jack move up from 168 to 175, and he hasn't been able to make his mark yet. And Badu Jack is known as sort of an elite level fighter. So what are the likes of Anthony Yarde and Joshua Buatsi going to be able to do? It's easy as pie to see why people believe that, Sergey Kovalev is the easiest target. 36 years old, trying to make 175 pounds. That must not be the easiest thing in the world. But even Badu Jack, since he moved up to light heavyweight, a unanimous loss against Marcus Brown, that would have definitely sort of lined him up for a world title shot. He challenged Adonis Stevenson and had a majority draw. He did beat Nathan Cleverly, and he also actually the draw against James DeGale, I think that was his last fight at 168 pounds. So since Badu Jack has moved up to 175, hasn't particularly gone his way. You've got 1 loss, 1 draw, 1 win. It's not exactly writing home for a guy trying to carve himself out. I believe that this 175 division is so stacked, and I just want to see who is the man. The fact is, these guys are Eastern European fighters, and Eastern European fighters, they generally don't fight each other. That's the reason why you've never seen, if you look at the heavyweights, you've never seen Povetkin fight Pulev, and you never will. And that's a major issue when you look at this division here. Are we going to get unification fights if Bivol, Govstik, Bertabiev, and Kovalev keep fighting each other? If you think about it, 3 of the 4 world champions are Russian, Bivol, Bertabiev, and Kovalev. Are these countrymen prepared to get in there and sling it out with each other? I just don't think they are. And then obviously you've got Govstik, who comes from the Ukraine, and then Sven Fomling is from Sweden. I don't really rate Sven Fomling that much, but you know, he does have a pointless IBO title. Some people might call him a world champion. I personally don't. Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. Do you think that this division is stacked as well? Personally, I think the most stacked division is the welterweight division, and I think that the light heavyweight 175 division is a close number 2. Would you like to see Callum Smith come up to 175, or would you like to see Bivol go back down? And who do you think is going to reign supreme? Do you think Anthony Yarde, Buatsi have a chance of sort of making their name in this division and getting hold of a belt and then maybe unifying and going undisputed? Or do you think that these Eastern European monsters are just going to reign supreme for as long as they want to? Is Kovalev right for the picking, and can Anthony Yarde sort of knock him off? Guys, I really want to know your thoughts on this one, because I think that the light heavyweight division is one of the most exciting, second most exciting divisions right now. You've got very good young champions holding 3 of the 4 major belts, and then you've got the old-time war hero Kovalev still in there, still in the mix. Will we get a unified champion who holds 2 or 3 belts? Will we get an undisputed champion? My pick is Dimitri Bivol. Let me know who your pick is and why. And then also let me know about the British sort of light heavyweights coming through the mix as well. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Hit like, hit subscribe, share, give me a thumbs up. You're watching Remstar Says So. Thank you.